Today I'm going to talk about why it seems like everybody is struggling in life during these times. Now, a lot of people say it's because you don't work hard or it's because you're lazy. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people are lazy and a lot of people need to work harder. But most of the people I know, and probably the people you know, we all know people that work every day and are still in the same position and still not where they want to be in life. So it's not because they're not going to work every day. It's simply because they're just not doing the right system. Now, many people are going to say it's because you don't invest your money or you spend way too much. And although financial literacy is important, you can only do so much if you don't make enough money, because you have to make enough money to invest in the first place. You got to have money left over. And I think that's the difference between rich and poor people. It's what they're actually doing that's going to separate them, because both of them work hard. But we all know rich people that don't work as hard as a poor person. There are certain cases that they do, but it's not every time. Many people are doing things that don't work long term or don't even have the capacity to earn enough money. So let me give an example. Let's say you're working at a retail job or a fast food job for 10 years with the capacity to make $50,000. Not going to make too much more than that at a GM position in basic cases. So that's 10 years you're at the same job doing the same thing and just making $50,000 a year. And you don't see more cap than that. But if you take the same 10 years and you spend that time either learning how to invest or taking a risk and starting a business, now you have the potential to make more than $50,000 a year. Now you also have the potential to lose a lot of money, but there is no reward without a risk. So you take that risk, you actually have the ability to make more money. Now, of course, a business or an investment can not work out and you're bound to lose money, but I'd rather go ahead and give it a shot and try than to just settle with a life that I'm not happy with. It's worth making a attempt at being successful than just watching your life go away and not doing anything about it and being old and regretting that you didn't make a decision that would have put you in a better position. I can live with not making it, but I can't live with at least not trying. Everybody who accomplished something amazing, they went out there and they took a risk and they applied pressure until something worked or it didn't work. If it didn't work, they learned from it and tried something else and used that knowledge that they learned from their failure to keep going. They didn't fail and be defeated and stop trying. You got to keep going. If you're alive, you still have another shot to make something happen. So it's not over until you're dead. It's truly mind-blowing because many people are following paths that have never worked or that just don't work anymore. Now, if you see people doing stuff that doesn't work or they don't like their lives, or you think, if I do that, I'm not going to be in a good position, don't do it. Or if you do decide to do it, educate yourself, see what they're doing wrong and improve it and learn from it and do it better and do it more efficiently. You really have to educate yourself and learn from other people's mistakes and watch who you listen to, because some people, they're pessimistic. So anything that you tell them, they're going to tell you something negative and discourage you. But you also have to pay attention to the people who don't tell you the bad sides of starting a business, or a bad side of starting an investment. It's not all glamorous. A lot of people, they'll tell you the good sides, but they won't tell you the bad sides or anything that comes with it. So you got to be prepared for the worst when going into any of these business ventures or investments or anything new or anything that you want to get into. It's not going to be easy because there's a lot of competition out there. So you really have to give it your all and take it day by day and keep learning. Like, for example, we started a trucking business. Now, we made a lot of money, but we also lost a lot of money in the process because, that comes with repairs. You got to invest into your own equipment and all that type of stuff. So, and there's a lot of unexpected expenses as well. So there's a good long-term plan, but along that way, there's a lot of bumps on the road. And a lot of people on social media and YouTube, they just tell you the good parts about it and all the money you can make. But you got to be aware of all the expenses and money you got to spend up front and the days and the weeks that you actually may not see a profit and all the sacrifices you got to make. So that would have crushed a lot of other people I know because they don't know that going into it. But we expected it, so it didn't crush us. So it's something you got to keep in mind and something I can share from personal experience. And anybody who started business, I know they can relate to this. If you have anything you want to add in the comments about that, drop them down below and share what you learned doing your business. So that learning curve and the risk of losing money, it's really real. I know it's obvious and something everybody probably knows, but it's something that I really want to put emphasis on, because a lot of people are going to end up in depression and being sad and all that type of stuff. So it's something you really got to be aware of. Now, to get back to my point, the reason a lot of people say that they're struggling is because they blame the economy and say that it's in a bad place. And then they say that we have to do different things than the generations before us to actually get ahead and build wealth. Now, although, there could be some truth to those things, if you focus on those things, you're not actually going to be able to change your situation. You got to focus on what you actually can control. Unlucky occurrences and bad situations are going to happen to everybody. That's just life. Now, there's people who have been through worse things than you that have way less, and they're probably not even as smart as you. Now, are they that better than you? That's really up to you to decide. The only thing you can do is focus on your inputs, the things you can control. You can focus on your education and the things that you do every single day to actually change your situation. Nobody wants to hear the complaining. They want to hear you do something about it. And you want to make yourself proud and your family proud. So make sure you do the things that you need to do every single day to get out of that situation. The only thing you can do is simply overcome the opposition. That's why I named my channel that. That's why I named my book that, my clothing line, all of that. It's all overcome the opposition, because that is simply what life is about. It's beating each obstacle and each test that comes your way, and then preparing for the next one, and then doing that over and over again, because each time you beat something, there is something else that's on the way. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want more information on this, I got a book on Amazon. It's called Overcome the Opposition. Go check that out. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next video.